Hey, what's up? So what I'm going to talk about in this video is moving on. Because recently in my life I've had to do that. And I'll give a little bit of a backstory. So I met this girl, and she seemed really cool. She seemed, you know, like kind of, we seemed kind of similar in, in how our life went and things like that. And we went on, a decent amount of dates too, and they all went well. They were all fun. We had like deep conversations and whatnot, and kind of randomly, out of the blue, she just stopped like communicating. And it was odd for me because it didn't seem like I guess that it was predictable or anything like that, but it's definitely super odd for me. And like kind of, I guess, you know just maybe making it make sense or rationalizing it and whatnot. But I think overall it was kind of a good thing, because I think there was like things that I was noticing that bothered me that I didn't really act on, I guess, about this person. And nobody's perfect, right? You can't, I guess. But the more I think about it, it's not even a thing of like me trying to like make myself feel better. It's like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, okay, maybe this is like a good thing that it happened. So I guess you could say like the universe is kind of looking out for me on that one. And yeah, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, okay, yeah, I think I was meant for like someone a little bit like maybe better suited for me. But it was interesting. It was weird to, and I mean, this has happened, like with many people, as far as like having to move on. I think this was the first time that it happened in this way. But I've definitely had to deal with that feeling in the past for sure. And yeah, it's an interesting thing. Like, I think the weirdest thing that's happened to me is like if I've like, maybe like, and this could not even be with like relationships, just to kind of put it into frame. Maybe this could be with, like losing a loved one. This could be with anything of just trying to deal with that hole that is now created, because this person to some degree was like a part of your life, I guess. And it's interesting, dealing with that, and everybody has their own different ways of doing that. Like I said, luckily for me, luckily, I don't know if that's a weird, not luckily, just like, well, I guess this time around for me, I don't even know if like luckily is like the right word to use. It's very odd. Not luckily, but just like, at least how I comprehend it, after it happening, I am like, okay, this happened for like a good and greater reason, right? This happened for me to find someone like even better. So, which is very good. I think another thing, I mentioned like breakups, losing a loved one. This is something that I kind of recently spoke about with someone, was maybe outgrowing old friends. Because I feel like throughout my life I've had like many different I've had many different like friend groups, And not to go deep into this weird, not a weird tangent, but like not to go deep into a tangent, but I feel like with the friend groups that I've been a part of, I've always felt like a like an outlier or a black sheep, or like I'm not really like 100% in or 100% like molded with any group. That's been throughout like my entire life. I've never like really stuck, like I've always, in any group that I guess I've been a part of, I've always been like the black sheep, or felt like that. I felt like that like all my life. It's yeah. And I feel like that's for a reason. Like I feel like I'm feeling that for a particular reason. But that's another, you know, thing that I've discovered, at least kind of recently, like when you go back and you maybe like try to chat or hang out with, you know, old friends or old friend groups. Like for me, you know, I've always had that like I don't fit in feeling, but now it's like super clear. And it's like this feeling where like my ideas, the way I think, you know, things like that don't match up with these people, and maybe they never really did, but now, you know, as I feel like as I grow as a person, and you know, as I don't know, just I want to say like maybe elevate myself, like try to learn more and become more self-aware, and you know, just elevate myself in any way I can, mind, body, spirit. I feel like that kind of just starts to separate you, and the more and more you do it, and the more and more you focus on that, I feel like the more and more painfully apparent it becomes to you when you try to maybe hang out with people or talk with people who you used to a lot. And it's an interesting thing. It's super interesting. It's super profound, I think. That's a word that I used when kind of describing it to someone else. Super profound. It's like you just like, you become so aware of everything, and like how, and like I think it's in specific instances where maybe the people that you used to hang out with haven't really changed at all, or you notice that they're not really focusing on trying to better themselves. It becomes like super apparent. And I think that alienated feeling that I kind of always had is like super strong now more than ever. And I kind of struggle with, you know, I think in my life I've always found it easy to like detach myself from groups and whatnot, and just I'm definitely the person in groups that will just kind of go silent for a very long time and maybe reappear later, go silent for a very long time without any like warning or anything like that. And which is funny because how I was mentioning like the past person that I was dating, like that's how they left me. But yeah, it's man, it's a weird thing. And you know, I think another thing is like I don't know why I find it so hard to completely maybe just cut off, you know, these groups of people that I used to hang out with. I'm not sure. You know, I think I do know. I think there is a sense of comfort. Let me phrase it like this. Going on some sort of like path of like trying to better yourself, trying to be more self-aware, trying to, you know, learn and better yourself, mind, body, spirit. You know, it takes a lot of getting out of your comfort zone, right? And I think like if you have people who you used to talk to who aren't doing that, then talking to those people or hanging out with those people is a very comforting thing, right? Because like that's like that was your comfort zone. So I think that that's why, you know, it's comforting. Also, I think with like bettering yourself comes a lot of loneliness, because when you're trying to achieve maybe great things in your life, you know, Man, I like lost my train of thought. What the heck? It's just a lonely path. I think for that reason, it's a lonely path because you start breaking away from people that you once were maybe like on the same level. I don't even know how to put it. So it can be super like, you know, isolating and alienating to to try and improve yourself and change. I think the biggest thing is changing yourself. Because I think to improve, you have to change. You have to change the way you think about things. You have to change your habits. You have to change all of these things. And you know, if you put in the work and you do all of that and you try to go back to people who haven't done that, that's because you've changed and they haven't. And that's the biggest, like, I think, alienating factor. It's, yeah, like I said before, it's super profound. It's super, super, super profound because it's like it's an odd feeling, you know? And like I said, I feel like I've had that feeling, like, you know, that feeling's always been in the back of my head, I feel like. And this isn't in an effort to sound like cool and mysterious. It's not at all. So I hope that people don't take it like, I'm not trying to be like, oh yeah, like, you know, I'm different than, you know, well, I don't know, like, it's me being 100% honest, you know what I mean? It's me, like, that's exactly how I felt. And it's not something I forced on myself, you know, it's not something that I, you know, I don't know, it's just how it has been, you know what I mean? And I'm sure there's, you know, many other people that probably feel that way, different degrees, whatever, maybe different situations, but I know I started this video about moving on, but I think that's a big part of change, is moving on, you know, moving on and being firm in that decision of moving on. And because I feel like all that will happen if you go back to, I guess, maybe hanging out with people that haven't changed or chose not to change, is, you know, you may, I would say, regress back to your pre-changed self. So it's not really ideal, right? And it's a hard thing to do because it's super comfortable to just go and, you know, hang out with the crowds that you were familiar with pre-changed you. I also find it, well, I mean, I was about to say, I also find it hard to find people who fit my changed self, right? New people who fit my changed self. But at the same time, I could definitely put more effort into, like, seeking out the people, you know? I could put more effort into, actually, you know, going and putting, I think that's the thing that I definitely need to work on, is like just going and putting myself, like, looking out for, like, you know, things that are happening, or just going and hanging out in areas where I may find, you know, like-minded people, you know? But yeah, it's an interesting thing, man. It is super, super interesting. It's so, this isn't a part of the video, or a part of the topic of the video. I noticed that people were commenting that, you know, my style of content is either refreshing or, like, kind of different than the, you know, I guess more so sporadic editing style. And I gotta say, like, I'm glad that I, you know, give off that, or my videos kind of provide that, because I definitely don't like how, like, you know what I'll say? I feel like the type of, like, content that's put out nowadays is so anti-human. You know, it's like unhuman. It's like all this, like all this information and loud and blah 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 blah, and it's like there's just no substance. Yeah, it's just all, and not that I don't want, you know, I hate to like, you know, bash people who make content like that. It's not like, you know, they're just trying to, they're doing, you know, if they're having fun, they're doing what makes them happy and they're having fun with doing it. But yeah, I do think a part of me looks at that and maybe like things like, I feel like if you watch it, it's like, I don't know, you maybe, it's like it's a type of content that makes you turn your brain off, I guess, you know? Doesn't make you think. I don't know. Like I said, I hate to like bash, because like, you know, those people are just doing what they love to do. You know, they're doing what is fun to them, or, you know, and they're on their own journey. So, you know, I won't delve too deep into that, I guess. But there is something to be said about it, that it's kind of, you know, it's odd, I guess, you know what I mean? It's like, it's very, it's like overstimulating, I guess. So maybe it's for a certain type of person, I don't know. For me, I really don't like loud and, you know, brrr, like everybody going crazy. Not really a big fan of that, you know. I definitely like more, you know, calm and whatnot. Yeah. But what was I talking about before? I feel like I just went on a tangent. I'm so sorry. Like I went off the topic of the video, but yes, you change, and it's, I was talking about like changing, and then, you know, trying to maybe hang out with people that you hung out before you maybe started to change. But it's, yeah, like I said before, and I feel like I've said this so many times, but it's just profound. It's a weird feeling, and not sure if anybody, well, I know that other people have felt this way before for sure, 100%. Have to. But yeah. And just another side note, I guess, I really appreciate like all the people like leaving comments, like nice, kind comments, and maybe like giving their opinions on stuff and whatnot. It's really cool. Really cool. And yeah, it's nice. I definitely 100% appreciate. I'm just grateful that you guys are taking the time out of your day to listen, you know. I'm great, you know, you could do anything with your time. Your time is valuable and it's precious, and you're choosing to, you know, choosing to, you know, listen to my videos. So I'm definitely grateful for that. But yeah, especially when, you know, they're not like super, oh, I just hit my mic, sorry, but they're not like super professional or anything, you know what I mean? You know, it's, I don't have like this crazy production value. Like I don't have a, like right now I have like a gaming headset that I'm using it right now. So I don't know, it's yeah. But yeah, I've definitely been loving just, you know, seeing the comments and whatnot, and people enjoying the content, and that it's helped people too, you know. That's really cool. I feel like I got like emotionally struck when I said that. I like hit a nerve or hit a heartstring or whatever. But yeah, the fact that it's helping people is definitely cool, you know. And I feel like that's reason enough to just keep going and trying to, you know, help more people, or maybe just give some people some calmness, or, you know, some interesting things to think about. I think that's a good thing. I told somebody, I think that in the comments, it's like always try to ask yourself difficult questions, always try to seek knowledge and seek awareness, you know. Don't get complacent with like how much you know, and, you know, where you always like try to ask yourself really difficult questions, and you know, try to be more and more, put yourself in other people's shoes. Be empathetic, man. I feel like We just need more empathy. I'm going so off topic of the video, but yeah, moving on. But yeah, moving on from, it's tough. It's tough for me to move on. Like I said, it's tough because it's a part of getting out of your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is the people, it's things that you grew up with and whatnot, and change is not comfortable. You know what I mean? It's not comfortable at all to change, and almost just fell in the lava. But it's not comfortable at all. So I think that's why it's difficult, but I think it's just making a decision, right? Like if you want to become like a, you know, a better and higher version of yourself, I feel like you just have to have that discipline, and you have to have that confidence of like, I just have to stop, you know, maybe interacting or just limiting your interactions with maybe old people too. It could start as like a moderation thing possibly, but I feel like that's kind of the approach that I've just been trying to limit, you know, who I speak to and how much time and whatnot, you know, because I don't want my like energy to be thrown off. I feel like I sound like a guru now, but I mean, it's super real. Like I just don't want what I've built for myself to be like shaken, you know, by like the energy of people or something that's not really in alignment, I guess. Yeah, you know what's another thing that, like, speaking of moving on, gaming, because whenever I started like trying to improve myself, one of the things that kind of left me, or one of the things I stopped doing really at all, was gaming. I really don't play other than like playing Minecraft as I'm doing now and talking. Like other than that, I don't really play too much outside of, I keep hitting my mic. I don't really play too much outside of that, and that's another thing like that I think is just gonna have to be limited, because, you know, I need to focus on other things. It's kind of sad because a lot of my childhood was just gaming centric. Gaming was always like a place of like comfort, and maybe that's a topic for another video. I feel like I'm touching on so many topics. This video is just gonna have to have a like a asterisk on it, because it just applies everywhere. But yeah, where are we at? 23 minutes. Man, I guess we're getting kind of close. I mean, I don't even know how long or how short I should make these videos. I've just been kind of trying to wrap up around 23-ish minutes. Also, what I'm doing right now in the game, just to kind of like touch on it, is like I'm not much of a builder, you know, never really have been. It sucks. I think I can build like some stuff, I feel like, if I have a reference, but I've definitely always been like a fan of just like mining and like the more like more mundane parts of Minecraft, gathering shit like that. But I just kind of want to mine out like a huge area just for no reason, just to do it. Because I think it would be cool. No reason at all, just mine out a huge area. But yeah, just to kind of like talk about Minecraft a little bit. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. We're at like 24 minutes. Yeah, moving on. It's an interesting thing. There's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of things that it can apply to. I was just talking about like things in my personal experience. It's a crazy, it's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing. It's always, I think the constant between all moving on feelings is always like it's like some sudden change, or some, it doesn't have to be sudden, just change kind of forces you to move on. But yeah, I hope I was able to kind of you know, get some good thoughts out here. I went on so many tangents in this video. It's insane. I'm definitely gonna have to talk about like gaming in my childhood in some video, because there's so much to delve into that with. I feel like that could almost come into play with a lot of the or some of the videos that I've talked about, you know. Gaming's it's an interesting thing, man. But yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and end the video. We're at 26 minutes. I kind of toyed with the idea of maybe like I don't know. I won't go into it, but yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and end it. Like I said before, I just want to kind of say it again, you know, I super appreciate the nice and kind comments. I'm super glad that I'm able to have like a good impact on people, or you know, give people just, you know, something to think about, I guess. And yeah, I do appreciate each and every person that takes their time out of their day to listen, like, and leave a comment, subscribe, everything. It's super dope. You know, I'm super grateful that the algorithm chose to push my video, that kind of like third or fourth video that I made. But yeah, you know, I hope whoever's listening, I hope you got some value out of this. You know, I hope you have a great day, and maybe if it hasn't been the greatest day, I hope today's or tomorrow is better. Yeah, I guess I'll catch you in the next video. Later.